Welcome back to the Exciting Insurance Show. Exciting Insurance Show. That's what we're calling it now. It's official.
So excited!
And we got a special one for you guys today. We're going to be talking all about driving. And at the end, Alex is going to give his 3 tips about how to mitigate risk when it comes to driving and keeping those insurance premiums down. So let's get right into it. As far as costs of accidents and being a bad driver, you like to talk about, the 5-mile-per-hour accident and your 2 cents on that.
So thanks for having me, Sean.
Of course.
Appreciate you. And I like the name of your show. I think maybe it'll grow on me.
Because the insurance world is just so exciting now.
It is. It's well, if you call being yelled at about the rising costs of premiums every day, that is exciting. So
Yes.
so let's get into it. So we don't have fender benders anymore, and so I'm old enough that car looked different, was different.
Back in our day,
We had metal fenders. Now we have plastic fenders, and in that plastic, or inside of that plastic, you've got wiring, you've got technology, cameras, sensors, and so a 5-mile-an-hour, crash, if you will. The old, terminology being fender bender is not a fender bender anymore. It's more of a tech bender or a tech wreck.
what the hell is even that?
Correct.
Yeah, and so that 5-mile-an-hour tech wreck is going to cost somewhere between $500 to $2,000. If it's 10 miles an hour, which is not fast, you can bank on the fact that it's going to be much more costly, and that could range from $2,000 to $6,000, depending on the car, depending on the cars. But the bottom line is things are more expensive today because of technology. And so there are lots of reasons that people have these tech benders or tech wrecks, but typically it comes from distracted driving.
Yeah, I actually want to stop you. Bringing it back to that 10-mile-an-hour crash, you sent me this. A crash test example, a Toyota RAV4 rear-ended a Toyota Corolla at 10 miles an hour. 6K in damages to the RAV4 and 4K damages to the Toyota Corolla.
Right. And whose fault was that?
It was a test.
It was probably the guy who hit the guy in front of him, right?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And how did that happen typically?
Yeah, I mean, normally it's people being on their phone.
Right. That's or doing your makeup or being just daydreaming or whatever it is, but you're not focused on what you're doing.
Other than just costs the car, there's, medical, and you always like to say if people can sue, they will sue. Could you touch on that?
Sure. And people can sue for anything. They can sue anyone for anything. And as you drive down the highway, you see billboards everywhere with accident attorneys. And so, it's a cultural thing at this point to sue, whether it's initiated or not. That's what's happening. So that's part one. And part two, in terms of a medical issue that could be caused. A lot of people have minimal limits with their car insurance, and whether it's personal lines or commercial lines. We insure a lot of people who drive vans, cargo vans, pickup trucks for work, and until they work with us, oftentimes they have the most minimal limits they can afford. And that's problematic because oftentimes if there's an injury or a fatality.
Bring out today! Here's one. Ninepence. I'm not dead!
The limits that you have, even if you don't have minimal limits and you've got higher limits, it blows through those limits and hits the umbrella. Well, how many people have an umbrella? So not everybody is the answer, and that's one reason. If you were ever going to consider getting an umbrella, the vehicular incidents would be the primary reason that I would consider getting an umbrella. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. But obviously, getting into a crash, filing a claim, it's going to raise your insurance rates.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, like the non-injury claims, where it's $5,000 if you're in a 10-mile-an-hour accident, versus, you know, you hit someone, they have to go to the hospital.
Right.
Do those change your rates differently, whether it's a bigger claim or smaller claim, or are you just kind of like screwed either way?
It all counts against you.
Yeah.
So and tickets count against you as well. So in my family, and they won't. I've got two college age kids and a wife and me, and we have 4 vehicles. And so I've got an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, and knock on wood, we've been very fortunate over the years. But one of the children got a ticket for speeding, and then one of the other people that will go nameless had a fender bender, right?
Yeah.
So, and that all happened in the past 6 months. So I can guarantee you that my insurance rates are going to go up. Number one. Number two, my insurance company may or may not drop me, and I might have to look for different insurance. Now, add another incident in there, and I can guarantee you I will be dropped by my insurance company. And the problem with that is that yet we have all these choices, and we watch TV and we see various companies, insurance companies advertising. You'd think we'd have access to whoever we want, but the fact of the matter is we don't. All of the insurance companies have access to that information in your driving history,
Yeah.
and because of that, if you do get dropped, or if I get dropped by an insurance carrier, the next carrier is going to ask me why I was dropped, and they know the answer before I answer it. But the point is all of these incidents, as they pile up, it takes 3 years to have them leave your record.
3 years.
3 years, right? And so be very careful about filing a claim. If you feel like you could pay cash for something, pay cash. You don't want to file claims unless it's absolutely necessary.
Wow. So people are getting penalized for actually using their insurance.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. I mean, biggest comment we get all the time is, I've been a good driver all my life, or I've been paying all this premium all my life, and the costs keep going up. I haven't had any claims, and finally, when I do,
Yeah. It's like, this is
it
why
goes
I have
against me.
insurance.
Right. And so my answer to that, and I pay the insurance bills in my house, and I don't get that much of a discount, uh, or if any. But the fact of the matter is, Sean, that if you file a claim, insurance on the car insurance side, you've got to look at it as, I think the smarter way to look at it is, this is for catastrophic stuff, or big ticket items. But if you file small claims, you can't plan on when the next claim is going to be. So let's say your deductible is $500, and you filed a $1,500 claim, netting $1,000. I would say consider that. And I can't speak for your cash flow, but I would say consider that before filing it, because that's one claim. Well, how about the next? And so just be cautious about filing the small claims.
Okay.
Make sense?
Makes sense. All right, so now let's get into it. What are your 3 tips for, mitigating risk as far as driving and keeping those premiums down?
Well, I've got more than 3 tips, but I'll tell you right now. So again, because I insure my family, because I insure other people's families, and because I insure people's businesses and their employees, these rules apply to both the family and the business. Number one, hands-free Bluetooth. Before you get going, and before you put that car in drive, if you've got an email to compose, or if you've got a text, that's when you do it. But as soon as you start doing it while you're driving, and I see it all day long, I see people doing this. I drive on the highway a lot. I put on 25,000 miles per year in my car, and I observe this stuff. People are texting all day long. That's the number one reason that people have serious accidents. So if you can do that stuff before and after, that would be you're going to reduce your family's risk dramatically by enforcing that, or
Just staying off the phone.
Yeah, communicate it. Like, if I'm a business owner, I'm going to communicate this to. If I've got people taking my vehicles and my vans, I'm going to make sure I have a safety meeting at least once a week, if not every single day, just saying stay off your phones. Now, a lot of people need to use GPS, and so same rules apply. You know, if you can talk it into, you know, and that accomplishes your mission, that's going to reduce your risk right there. But if you have to plug in GPS coordinates, just do it before you put the car in reverse. Speaking of putting the car in reverse, next tip would be uh, make sure that you don't rely on your camera system solely when you're backing out. We have a lot of people get
Yep.
into an accident where they're just looking at the camera, but that doesn't cover all bases, and there are a lot of serious injuries that happen as you know the kid walks by the car, but the camera doesn't pick them up right away, and you're
Yeah.
backing up. So use your senses, use your eyes, your ears, everything as a driver. That those are rules that I'm sure you'd enforce with your children. It's the
Yeah.
same rules apply to family and business.
Yeah, no, my girlfriend couldn't park without her backup cam, but
Right.
I've never had a car new enough to have one of those, so I'm
Right.
lucky.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's and that's you know, some people are old school and they'll buy their kids you know, like you know,
Beater car.
stick shift beater, you know,
Yeah.
from the if you can still get them. But I think that those drivers are much safer than the rest of us because they're really using their senses.
Okay, so number one, no texting or calling. Always put it on Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Number two, don't trust the backup cams. And number three, number two is
Yeah.
pre-plan the GPS.
Yeah.
And number three is don't trust the backup cams.
Don't trust it only. You know, I mean, I use the backup cams, but I'm always, you know, looking over my shoulder when I'm backing up in parking lots. You know, there's a there's a lot that happens, and we're busy people, and we're busier than we've ever been in our lives, and so you've got to trust everything.
Yeah.
Trust your senses, trust your camera versus trusting only one thing.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, if you found those tips useful and you want to support the channel, please like and subscribe and let me know what you want on the next video. And also, let me know what your favorite cameo is. Last time for me, it was the Office Space one, but you know, I'm an old fashioned guy. So, let me know. See you next time.